Hey, what is going on guys? I hope you're all having an amazing day. Right then, today we're going to get stuck into the LADRA and SMG that was released during Season 3 and absolutely deserves a look at if you want to try something a little bit different. I've recently made a class setup on the LC10, so if you're interested in that, be sure to click the I in the top right hand corner of the screen. Alternatively, I'll leave a link in the description down below. The reason I'm mentioning this though is that currently I would say the top 3 SMGs are the LC10, Jackal and C9, but I would definitely put the LADRA up there in contention with those guys. Same as usual, after I make a class, I'll play 5 tester games just so I can get a feel for the gun and provide you guys with some content, which is what you can see playing in the background. I've been grinding with this setup to see if it can genuinely compete with the current crop of meta weapons even after the Season 4 update, and the results might surprise you. Just like usual, I've been tracking all the important metrics, limb to death ratios, accuracy stats, total eliminations, data that'll give you a realistic picture of what this weapon can do. We'll be covering the complete loadout breakdown, diving into why I've chosen each specific attachment and perk, discussing what this gun excels at and where it might let you down, and crucially, delivering a final verdict on whether the LADRA deserves a spot in your weapon rotation. Sound good? Well, let's crack on then. Alright, before we dive into the nitty gritty, just a heads up that I'll drop the full class setup in the comments down below, and I'll pin it for you guys for easy copying, so definitely keep an eye out for that. Let's start breaking down these attachments, kicking off with our first choice, the Suppressor. Absolute essential for me on pretty much every build. Staying invisible on the minimap when you're fragging out is game changing. You don't want every player on the map knowing exactly where you are the second you start getting elimination. Moving on to our second attachment, the Reinforced Barrel. Like the LC10, this again was a toss-up between this and the long barrel, and honestly, I have no idea why, but on some guns the long barrel definitely feels better, but in this case the reinforced barrel wins. You're getting improved bullet velocity, which means your shots connect faster whilst keeping that crucial damage range intact. It's a proper upgrade. Third attachment now, and I've gone for the extended mag 1. Here's the thing, nothing's more frustrating than going on a tear, downing multiple enemies, then having to reload right when you spot your next target. Those extra rounds can be the difference between a decent streak and an absolute worldie. You won't always need the full mag, but when you do, you'll be grateful that it's there. Fourth attachment, and we're rocking the Ergonomic Grip. This is all about making the weapon feel snappy and responsive. Faster ADS across the board, quicker sprint to fire transitions, better jump shotting, everything that makes an SMG feel like it should. The improved handling is immediately noticeable. And finally, our fifth attachment, the Recoil Springs. The LADRA shoots that fast that naturally it has a bit of an upwards trajectory in terms of its recoil pattern. These springs help with both vertical and horizontal recoil, which should just make it more or less point and shoot. It just makes staying on target much more manageable without having to fight the gun constantly. Now let's talk perks, and these are pretty much my go-to setup for aggressive SMG gameplay. Obviously we're running perk greed here because more perks equals more advantages, so starting off we have Ninja in the first slot. Silent movement is absolutely crucial for SMG players. You need to be able to flank routes, get behind enemy positions and reposition without every opponent knowing exactly where you're coming from. In the second spot we're going to run Hunter's Instinct. This perk is genuinely overpowered for aggressive players, getting that minimap ping on the nearest enemy after each kill. That's free intel that leads to easy chain kills, perfect for maintaining momentum when you're on a roll. Now in the third slot we're gone for Slipstream. This gives you a pretty good base movement speed buff and removes tack sprint. The removal of tack sprint means that you'll get caught sprinting with your gun up a lot less without losing movement speed, meaning you'll be ready for a lot more gunfights. And finally, Bankroll. Starting each life with 150 score streak points is massive. Like I always say, more streaks means more map control, meaning more eliminations and ultimately more wins. The Enforcer Specialist perk kicks in automatically with these 3 red perks equipped, giving you that lovely movement speed and health regeneration boost after each kill. It's the perfect complement to aggressive SMG gameplay. Some honourable mentions in the perk slots would however be Ghost. I would swap that out for Ninja if you're finding yourself being killed by a lot of people who are running loads of UAVs, and another one if you are running out of ammo consistently and you're going on longer streaks, I would maybe swap out Bankroll for Scavenger. Right, now that you've seen the setup, let's let's get into the actual performance data from my testing. Across those 5 test matches, here's what the LADRA delivered. An average limb def ratio of 3.56, built from 445 total eliminations and 125 deaths, working out to roughly 89 kills per match, which is getting close to double that of the LC10 gameplay. However, I was playing the extended mosh pit, so games were a little bit longer. The accuracy came in at 35% with a 14% headshot percentage, which honestly is not too bad either. Next, a quick insight into the strengths and weaknesses, starting off with what the LADRA does really well. The LADRA absolutely dominates close range encounters and holds its own surprisingly well at medium distances. The time to kill feels pretty quick, and because of the added bullet velocity, the gun feels super responsive. The bullet reg feels pretty instant, which is always nice and provides you with immediate feedback. As long as you make the map as small as possible, and by that I mean minimizing the length of the gunfights you're taking and challenging people at those closer ranges, you should win the majority of your battle. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of any other guns that have a higher fire rate than the LADRA, other than the compact, so you're literally going to shred people at closer ranges, as long as you hit your gunshots. Now, the weaknesses. And like pretty much all SMGs, long range duels aren't where the LADRA shines. Even with our range boosting attachments, you're not going to go toe to toe with the assault rifles at proper distance. I had previously mentioned in my last video that the LC10 could probably challenge at those medium to longer ranges, but I wouldn't put the LADRA in that category. This is a well and truly short to medium range gun, so definitely use it to its strengths. Overall, the weapon feels smooth, handles beautifully, and genuinely fits into a top tier weapon. Its all-round play is pretty decent. Use it well, hit your shots, and keep your gunfight distances to a minimal, and you shouldn't have any issue using the LADRA. Starting out, however, from level 1 on the gun, you will need some recoil reducing attachments. Just persevere with it, and as soon as you unlock a grip such as the vertical grip, I would whack that on until you get the Recoil Springs. Right, decision time. Where does the LADRA actually sit in today's weapon hierarchy? After a fair amount of testing along with my 5 tester games, I'm placing this weapon in the top tier bracket. Not quite meta tier, but we're talking the higher end of the top tier bracket. If you haven't already used it, I would 100% recommend jumping on Black Ops, chucking on my class and giving it a go in some public games. The weapon itself is super fun, not a massive skill gap when it comes to being able to use it, so any player should be able to rock this class and have a great time. And that's the LADRA class setup complete, and just like usual, if you guys have made it this far, be sure to comment down below the secret phrase of jelly potatoes. I'll be sure to interact with all the comments down below. So then, let's wrap this all up. What are your thoughts on the LADRA? Have you been experimenting with the LADRA recently? Drop your thoughts down below in the comments. I'm always keen to hear how different setups are working for other players. If this guide's been helpful, hitting the like button would be massively appreciated. It genuinely makes a massive difference for the channel's growth. Want more weapon breakdowns like this? Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future uploads. Cheers for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of the gameplay footage, and I'll see you all in the next one.